It might look hard to put a project out there in today's superhero genre, especially since DC and the MCU, in particular, have received quite the fanbase in today's world, but if there's one man that can do it, it has to be Todd McFarlane and his Spawn character, which is why I'm here today to tell you all of the bits and pieces from the movie that will blow your mind. Enjoy! The superhero movie genre is one of the biggest business investments in today's world, with all of the movies investing a whole lot of budget costs due to all the practical as well as special effects. However, this was not always the case, as back in the day the genre itself was considered niche. Before Marvel blew out the roof, comic book fans didn't always have the best relationship with the filming industry, and I'm sure you can understand why, as less and less movies were made according to the comic fans' desires. This was also the case with former Marvel man Todd McFarlane, who created the story of Al Simmons aka Spawn, a US Marine turned CIA agent who finds himself in hell after he gets double-crossed and killed. He then makes a deal with the demon and is sent back into the world of the living, an entirely different man, or being, I should say, called Hellspawn, around 5 years after his death.
New enemy. Justice has a new weapon, and the world has a new hero.
And while Spawn is ranked among the greatest comic book characters, the comic book runs never got the live-action praise the other Marvel and DC movies have. And that's because when the live-action iteration of the character released, the superhero genre was not really a thing, and the movie fell flat. However, seeing the rise of the genre where Spawn belongs, the character will be getting a reboot movie, one that I think will blow your mind and exceed all of the expectations you might have right now. Which is why I'm here to tell you some of the bits and pieces regarding the movie and everything that should make you excited about the movie. But before I do that, let's see what the brain behind the entire thing has to say about the upcoming movie, and without further ado, let's dive right in. News regarding the development of the upcoming Spawn movie has been quiet, but Todd finally showed his enthusiasm about it and gave us an update or two. Todd McFarlane will serve as the director of the movie outside of being the creator of it and the one to pen the script, and he also said that even though he thought he managed to put everything together, he's still biased regarding the script solely because he didn't receive the reaction he personally hoped for regarding his biggest project to come. 2 years ago, producer Jason Blum has announced that active development has continued for the Spawn movie, hinting that big moves were occurring behind the scenes, particularly the new group of screenwriters who have been hired. And while the writers have not yet been identified, McFarlane has shed some light on the public and said that they're of particularly accomplished pedigree and will impress all of us when the official announcement comes through. This alone is a clear indication enough that you should hit that like button if you haven't done so already. But no, in reality, this should be a clear indication that you ought to pay a lot more attention to the project that, according to the people working on it, will be a big hit you wouldn't want to miss. So outside of all the things behind the scenes and the crew that is involved in the movie, what other details are important that will blow your mind? Well, let me say this before anything else, the movie will simply be an R-rated Venom project, to put it plainly, and I get it why a depiction of this sort came through, because McFarlane, before he started to work on Spawn, he was heavily involved in the Spider-Man and Venom comics runs, with his next character being an undeniably similar character to Venom in his own rights. In an interview, Todd promised that the upcoming Spawn movie will go even further than the R-rated superhero movies already out there, with him ready to push the boundaries even further than what the studios allow. The cast side of things is yet another interesting part of the movie, with Jamie Foxx returning for the role despite his first outing in the role not going too well for him, who interestingly enough was the one to approach Todd and not the other way around, despite Todd already having him in mind to portray the role way before he started working on the script for the movie.
Of the people and things of hell I dubbed thee, Spawn, General of Hell's armies.
The actor has name recognition, so I'm not surprised at all that he's back in the role, because let's face it, if you're doing a reboot, if the actor is up for it, you wouldn't want to change the face of the character at hand, right? Jamie Foxx, despite being put in the role of the title character, he'll not speak in the movie, or that is what Todd said in recent history, and he'll not be the main star of the movie. That status will fall on the shoulders of Jeremy Renner, who will portray the role of an NYPD detective, Twitch Williams, with his character having more than just a few differences when compared to the comics version of the character. Hence, instead of being a scrawny brainbox of a detective, He will be a badass cop that will have no problem turning to dirtier stuff if the situation demands it. Regarding the role of Jeremy Renner's Twitch sources claim that the reboot will begin with him reeling at the loss of his daughter to gang violence, with Foxx being like the devil on his shoulders as he embarks on the quest for revenge. And while I'm here at the story side of things, don't worry, we'll not be getting yet another origin story, despite the last outing of the hero being around 20 years in the past, with Todd saying that he's not keen on wasting time explaining exactly how Al Simmons becomes Spawn in this movie, which is a strange thing considering this is the long-standing tradition of the superhero genre, who said that almost everyone who will watch the movie will have somewhat of an idea as to how it all happened, and the character's past intertwined in the story to be told throughout the entire movie. The other interesting piece regarding the outlook of the movie is the fact that the movie has been set to be more of a horror story rather than a hero story, with Todd McFarlane saying, and I quote, "A dead serious scary movie that happens to be about a superhero, something vaguely similar to what DC tried to do with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, but much darker." The creator behind it all discussed this desire of his at length, recounting the times he has tried and failed to smash the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. However, on a more serious side of things, the times he's tried and failed to get Hollywood on board with his idea for the movie, the horror-heavy approach he's so fond of for the character, which according to him will be the best spotlight for the upcoming movie. Decades have passed since Todd's last attempt at the character, and now that he's managed to achieve and put his vision into development, you better believe that he'll not put the character back on the shelf after just one movie. Who let slip that he has a trilogy planned for the Spun universe moving forward, with each movie looking extremely different when compared to the other two in the trilogy to come. He went on to say that he imagines the entire thing to present itself as different projects put together and somehow working with one another, with the main significant change being the visual side of things, and then the rest. Whatever the case may be, I think that we will be amazed when the movie hits, with so many things despite being there, the characters having trouble grasping at them and questioning themselves whether the thing they're seeing is real or not, and if it's not, then how all of it could even be possible. See you in the next video.